Hello, and welcome to another episode of Three Dads and a Console, or should I say, Two Dads and No Waba. Me and Pez are here, just chilling this week without our main man Waba. He is off on assignment, or he's just doing something for himself. Not too sure. He keeps to
Unsure.
himself. Yeah, I'm very
Yeah,
unsure on
he's
this
just
one.
like, hey, I'm not showing up on Wednesday.
Seriously, he gave
We're like,
nothing to us. He didn't
all
say,
right.
"Hey, I'm doing this, I'm doing that." He was just like, "I won't be here."
He's like
Um,
buddy, I guess, is a streamer he knows is coming up to Boston, so he's hanging out with him.
oh look, he feels peasant on things. I'm
It
sure
was
he
he
did.
said it during his stream. He didn't tell me anything.
Look at that. He chose someone else over us.
Yeah,
So
can't
now we
blame
know
him.
how important we are. No, neither can I, honestly. Who are we kidding? The things we're going to talk about this week, not much going on in the world of news. I know
Nothing.
people probably want to talk about the abandoned thing. I don't care, so I'm not going to talk about it.
Yeah, but
Um,
what's that?
that abandoned app, that game that everybody keeps dunking on the indie developer for because he said this was when the app was going to launch, and then it didn't launch, and then everybody keeps thinking it was a Hideo Kojima game, and all I see is gamers out there dunking on the guy when all I see is gamers out there looking like a bunch of punks. So
Yeah.
don't dunk on the guy. Like, don't be douchebags. It's
No.
it's like it's like when you see people on social media and they're proud that someone blocked them. It either unless it's Dougie Hamilton blocking you, which is not a
Oof.
real block.
Oof. Been there.
It, I'm there. I asked him to do it. Um, or it's just you being a dick, and that's why you got blocked. Just,
Right.
just don't be a terrible human, and be nice to people. I don't know. That's just my opinion. So how you been, Pez?
Pretty good. Playing a lot of Splitgate. We played some State of Decay last night on Twitch. It was great.
That was a lot of fun. I gotta try this Splitgate. It's on Xbox, so I'm gonna check it out. Um, People seem to be enjoying it, and from what I'm being told, people that are not avid shooters are decent at this game.
Yeah, I mean, I have been constantly, consistently, I guess we'll say, going, 18 and 6, 27 and 4. It's fun, man. So, for those that don't know, Splitgate used to be called Portal Wars. So, if you ever download it on Steam and launch it, it'll say Portal Wars, but it's really Splitgate. It is a mix of Halo and Portal and like arena shooters like Quake, where your main method of escaping your escapability is that you shoot portals with Q and with E. So you have your two portals, and you can shoot through them, and you run through them, and you can run through enemy portals, and you can close them whenever you want. And it's great. I love it. It's great.
And it is also available on console. So if anybody wants to check it out, regardless of if you're on console or you're on PC, you can play this game. I believe Pez is free to play as well.
It is still in yeah. So it's in open beta, but it is free. It is crossplay with PC and console. So there it is. I'm
But
loving it. It's great.
one thing I will talk about with crossplay of PC and console, as a console player, yeah, you get murked. You just get murdered.
Yes.
PC players can just ping, 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 ping. The game that Pez and I can't talk about, that we've been playing, that I'm no longer playing, to be totally
Yeah.
honest. But
Played
um,
it for about an hour and went, yeah.
I I
Oof.
got my character up to level 6, so I could get the just in case when the game comes out, I get the stuff. But
Mhm.
dang man, I was just getting murdered in that game. But
Yeah,
I will.
mouse and keyboard is definitely the way to go. If you can handle it, it's the way to go.
I tried. I even tried the Tim Geddes method. I had the controller in one hand, and I tried to use my mouse as my aimer. Nope. It's
Yeah.
a big no. I don't know what it is. My mouse skills aren't there, and I'm all over the screen, and I might as well just use a controller. So,
I feel you.
uh,
I have the same problem. I panic. Sometimes I panic, move my mouse around because I'm still a noob when it comes to first person shooters on the PC.
so speaking of PC, Xbox made an announcement this week. If you're part of the Xbox Insiders program, which is free to any person that has a PC or an Xbox, that's the great thing about Xbox. Pez, who doesn't own one, can play any of their games as long as he's got Game Pass. And me, who now has a PC, realizes my PC is an Xbox. There is an Xbox. You can open it up, so on and so forth. It's not the same as a console, but it is now, and that's what I was going to talk about. Something they just introduced. Well, sorry, according to the internet, reintroduced. I guess they had it previously. Um, I'm reading a little bit here, part of Game Rant. It's been a productive day for Xbox with the announcement of a showcase at this year's Gamescom and the start of cloud gaming PC beta. Follow these developments. Xbox seemingly has another surprise in store, a long-awaited return of remote play on PC. Remote play has become a pretty popular feature in recent years across the gaming community. To be able to stream a game to another device without being tied down by one's console is pretty handy innovation to come from previous console generations. This company has made it such a focus, allowing gamers to play the way they would like by giving them as many options as possible. In June, Xbox launched its cloud gaming service on Xbox Series X and S, allowing players to play particularly any game from phone or tablet, which I know, Pez, you've been playing a lot
Yeah.
of Xbox games.
Yep. It's great. Oh, it's so good.
So I am part of this Xbox Insiders. All I did was Google it, sign up, and that's also I know Pez is part of it. That's how we were both playing the Halo beta. You can actually go back in there, Pez, and just click on it, and you can get into this beta if you had an Xbox. So
Mhm.
today, I tested this out. I have an Xbox Series S, which is right beside my PC, but I also have an Xbox Series X, which is in my basement, hooked up to my a fancy TV with all my 120 frames per second and the Dolby Vision that looks fantastic. So I wanted to test the theory. So what you have to do is go into your Xbox, change your settings so that remote play is it's enabled. I was able to play 3 games. I played Ascent, I played Gears 5, and Forza Horizon. I saw zero lag. I felt like I was playing on my console. It actually, as I said to Pez before the show, it made me kind of sad because I bought an Xbox Series S so that I could stream games while I'm in my office, and I don't need it. I think I can remote play everything from the X, and that also for people that are streaming. I have an Elgato HD 60S. I don't even need that anymore. I can actually just stream everything through my console and just have OBS for the people that stream up and running because I'm playing everything remotely through my PC and it runs perfectly. I haven't tried any games like Call of Duty. I will test it tomorrow. I do have Call of Duty. I just didn't have time today. I'm still a parent at the same time, but and I have a job. But, from what I saw, Gears of War, it was running perfect. Forza didn't look like all reactions, it was all there. Everything looked like I was playing on my TV downstairs. So, if this is something that Xbox has working for them, it's just another feather in their cap. Now, I did mention PlayStation does have this. You can kinda backdoor it onto your PC. I'm gonna test out how remote play works on the PlayStation as well. Um, but once again, what Sony has been doing is not telling anyone. I've been a Sony PlayStation person for a really long time, and Sony just doesn't advertise anything.
No, Sony is very much like, hey, get your console, come play Horizon on your console, and you'll be happy. And that's it. That's all they want to do. And while Microsoft is like, hey, you're going to be able to play Halo anywhere you want. And it's two different, they have two different visions. And I think a little bit of last generation, the PS4 and the Xbox One generation played a part in it, right? Because Xbox was I believe, very far behind from Microsoft when it was, from Sony when it was all said and done.
Fair statement.
And now they're going to try to catch up and do everything they can. And I think they're taking, the streaming service that we see with movies and TV, and they said, let's try it with gaming and see what happens.
Yeah, and Xbox's financials came out last week, and they were very good. And there's a lot of indie developers that have been talking that a game like The Ascent, which unfortunately I wasn't a big fan of. I just didn't like the shooting mechanics in the game. The world looked beautiful. Everything about the game is a lot of fun. It's on Game Pass. I'd recommend anybody to try it. But these games are doing well, even though they're on Game Pass. I know Sony originally said that that's the reason they're not going that way, because they can't recoup their money. But the opposite is happening. Games are doing extremely well. Look at MLB The Show. It did extremely well on Game Pass, and it did still extremely well in sales. Um, and plus, most of the DLCs for games they're not free, so people are buying those on Game Pass. But I find what Xbox is doing is making it fun again. And it actually goes back to a lot of things Pez said at the beginning when we first started doing these podcasts. When I was like PlayStation, which I still like my PlayStation, but Xbox just adds value, and they add value for not just console people; they also add value to PC players.
Oh, 100%. Excuse me. And the thing, like, especially with indie games, right? You may not get a substantial cut like you would if you sold traditionally, but a game like so there's a roguelike called Undermine. I've never heard of it. Never heard of it. It hit 500,000 downloads on Xbox Game Pass alone. So if you, the way I look at it, if you have a game that you don't know you don't know if it's gonna sell well, right? It's this unknown indie game. There's a million unknown indie games, but if you find, let's say half of those people that downloaded it loved it, then they may follow you to your next game, right? And it's like Supergiant, right? We talk about Supergiant games all the time. And Bastion was their first game, and a lot of people loved Bastion, so they followed him to Transistor, and then they followed him to Pyre, and then they followed him to Hades, right? And that's important for indie game developers and publishers because that doesn't happen a lot. So for a system like Game Pass to come out and then this unknown indie game, I've never heard of it. Roguelike indie games are my cup of tea, and I've never heard of this game. To hit 500,000 downloads is huge. It's huge.
And it's not just people that have an Xbox, because if your friend has a PlayStation, you're like, hey, especially if there is crossplay, if your friend is on Game Pass and they're loving this game, 9 times out of 10, your friend that's on the PlayStation is going to buy that game. So it's word of mouth. You look at Hades is coming on Game Pass on Friday. I, for one, after watching you play it, I can tell that it's gonna beat the living daylights out of me. I find Death's Door to even be hard, but I'm gonna play Hades because it's there and I'm gonna try it. Now, if I actually like it because I actually enjoyed Death's Door, um, it might get me towards that gear genre of games that I thought I didn't like because it didn't want to be beat up. But after playing Death's Door, I was like, you know what? I still enjoyed it. Even though I was dying a lot on that cathedral, I still enjoyed it.
Right.
Like it was satisfying when I finally beat it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think whatever Microsoft has planned next, right? They have this PC cloud beta, right? And now they have remote play, and I think it's gonna be they're stepping their game up big time. And I can tell you right now, using Game Pass Ultimate and using xCloud on my PC, which it doesn't look the best, but that's how I get to play MLB The Show because I don't have an Xbox, right? I can't find one, buying a house, don't really want to spend that kind of money right now. But now I can play whatever I want to play because it's right at my fingertips. I don't even need an Xbox to do it. It's crazy. Crazy.
Yeah, and when you look at it, they've got games coming up on the 24th, I believe. Um, they've said they're going to be talking about games that are coming out. So obviously, I could throw my prediction out here. I have a funny feeling we're either going to get. Here's my prediction: we either get a Halo Infinite release date, or no matter what, they will launch Halo multiplayer this year and possibly Halo Infinite next year. This is just my guess out there because I had a lot of fun in that multiplayer. I have a funny feeling they could launch the multiplayer and still wait until next year. And because a lot of Sony's going to announce that they're going to be pulling back, Horizon won't come out this year. You can let all those third-party games come out in the fall. Or I know Microsoft wants to just knock it dead, but they've got Forza coming out. So Forza is going to be their game. So do they need to even bring out Halo? But if you look at the announcement, they made a point of talking about what's coming to Game Pass, what we're bringing to Game Pass. They're having a conference and they're talking about a service, not just games. They're talking about my guess is acquisitions.
Oh, that's interesting. Now that's interesting. Like what studios are next?
Well, there's got to be like think about it. There's these all these rumors out there, and I'm sure Sony's in on them. But like WB had to split up everything, right?
True.
So where are those games going?
Right.
Um, you can always go down the rabbit hole, but the WB games last week were all on sale on the Microsoft Store.
Mm-hmm.
I went out. Good friend of the show, Matt from Assemble, he let me know, and I went out and got the Arkham Asylum games. I got some of the Lego Batman games for my
Nice.
daughter. They were all really dirt cheap. Now I could get burned, and they could be on Game Pass in about a week, but I'm still holding out that maybe Xbox acquired TT Games.
Maybe.
It's there.
I
It's
mean,
the X Game Pass doesn't have any of the kids friendly stuff.
right. And we've kind of talked like if you divide up the WB games, like Sony has their superhero games, right? They have their Spider-Man. Xbox doesn't really have like an exclusive superhero game, so like to get um to get something, even if it's like Lego Batman, like you're gonna make a ton of money, right? And the fighting games like Mortal Kombat would sit better under the realm of Sony, who has a ton of fighting games and has kind of done that in their past. But yeah, I never thought of acquisition. That is an interesting point that you bring up.
Yeah,
Didn't
because
even register.
I don't think they're gonna announce any new games because I don't even think they need to. Like, I don't think like maybe some third party developers are like, hey, can we throw our games in there? Because Sony never did a conference this year, which to be totally honest with you, we a lot of third party games have marketing deals with specific consoles. I'm sure those consoles are, Call of Duty is supposed to be a PlayStation game, mind you. Activision would probably want to stay out of the news as much as possible. Um, Oh, PS update to that. Activision has fired a ton of people. So if you want to know more about it, they've just gone on a firing spree.
Yeah. Yep. They have.
So we'll see what they announce. I don't expect to have any big earth-shattering stuff. My guess is they talk about Halo. Um, they talk about something from Bethesda. What's that start? Why can I never remember
Starfield.
this? Starfield. Uh, and then maybe some indie games, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
Um,
So
but
Aaron Greenberg tweeted a couple days ago on August 9th. So to set expectations, no new reveals or major surprises with Xbox at Gamescom.
yeah, so it's gonna be here's what's coming to Game Pass.
Yeah.
By the end of the year, which is great. And then it'll be Halo and Starfield.
Yeah. And it could just be like first looks type thing. But I think at this point, especially with Halo, I feel like they're getting ready to drop it, right? Because like that Infinite beta test was pretty solid. The servers obviously need work, but nothing felt wonky. The bots were like I feel like the bots put up a little bit of difficulty, so you got your metal tested a little bit. When I played Sunday night against humans, servers were kind of like hit or miss, but it was their first multiplayer launch with people against people, actual PvP, not like PvB, player versus bots. So that game has to be coming soon. It has to be.
Yeah,
The multiplayer feels ready.
yeah, it felt flushed out, and maybe they
Yeah.
can just use the servers that they have for the Master Chief Collection.
Yeah.
Like they have the servers there. It could be just adding it to that. Like that's why I feel that even if the game Halo Infinite isn't ready, the multiplayer is.
Yeah.
And the multiplayer would be just as big. Like I after playing the multiplayer, I now understand the amount of people that said, "Oh, Halo multiplayer is where it's at." It was fun.
Yeah.
It's easy to understand. Everybody can get into it. You don't have like the Call of Duty, like the snipe, 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 snipes. That just doesn't happen. Um, Ease of entry, and they could almost get away with only having this come in. And I guarantee you, do you know how much money they would just sell just on battle passes alone?
Yeah. Oh, especially free to play? Insane. Insane. And the thing is, like, you don't need If you're gonna launch a free to play Halo multiplayer, you don't need to launch it with Halo Infinite campaign.
Correct.
You don't have to. You can just say November. I'm picking a day. November 12th, we're launching Halo Infinite multiplayer free for everybody. Day one Game Pass, and then whatever. March 18th, 2022 is the Halo Infinite campaign. People are still gonna play it because it's a Halo campaign, and they want to see what the next installment of the story is.
In fact, they're going to get more sales. If you almost split the game up, only put it at the multiplayer, and think about it, your customer base is anybody who has a mobile phone, anybody who has a tablet, anybody who has a PC, anybody who has a console, and you say the battle pass is $25. Say the battle pass is $25 USD. Um, you're gonna get. I know I'll get the battle pass right away. When it's a free to play game, you're more inclined to get the battle pass, and then you're gonna like all the skins, and you're like, oh, I want to make my guy look like this, and then you know what they're gonna do. They're gonna have a Psychonauts skin. They're gonna have a Sea, like you had the Sea of Thieves skin when we were playing State of Decay.
Yep.
What's stopping you from getting the Sea of Thieves skin for Halo?
Right. Right. It makes so much sense. You don't have to launch. They don't need to be mutually exclusive anymore. They can launch separately, and you can still make all that money that you were gonna make if you launched them together. Because guess what? People will buy and we know this because it's happened. People will buy a 12, 15-hour campaign for $40, and if it's a good campaign, they're not gonna complain about it. They're
Well,
not.
they already know that their multiplayer is gonna it's gonna do well. Let's be real here. The hype around everybody after playing the beta, I think even made it bigger.
Yeah.
Am I wrong? Like I
No.
had a lot of fun. I'm excited to play it. It's a multiplayer I'll play. They could get away with putting that out, and then when they did launch, say in March, Halo Infinite, and we're not saying they will,
Right.
the pre-orders would go through the roof. Even the people that don't have Game Pass would buy it.
Yeah. Especially if you put out the special editions, right? Like people are going to buy those in droves. But
Especially if they've been having so much fun with the multiplayer.
yeah, and I mean, let's be real. Like you Court are not a first person shooter guy, and
Nope.
you had a blast.
A ton of fun.
We joke around like on the show. I'm the first person shooter guy. I mean, I had a great time. But if someone who doesn't, for the majority, enjoy first person shooters enjoys that, you've won. And
Yeah,
343 made a great. The beta was very, very fun to play.
that's the thing. The barrier to entry wasn't hard, and it made me download the Master Chief Collection, and it made me start playing the multiplayer to build up my guy because they got the app and so on and so forth. And I still wasn't doing that bad when I was playing against other people. It's not like when I play Call of Duty multiplayer and I might as well just put the controller down and let myself get killed over and over again.
Right.
Um, I don't know what they do to even it out, but it just seems like once again Xbox is making it fun, and
Well,
I could see how much they can do with this.
I also think. I mean, we want to talk Call of Duty. Like Ravensoft, who is now in charge of Warzone, just banned 50,000 accounts. Like cheating is very, very bad over there in Warzone, and I will give Microsoft its credit. It doesn't. They employ an anti-cheat, so it doesn't. Halo, when I play Halo multiplayer, it doesn't seem like someone's aimbotting me or wall hacking me or any of that stuff.
And honestly, it felt like that beta we were playing. I felt like someone was like, I was just like, "There's no way." Like the game was only in beta, and I felt like people had already like I saw the scores at the end. I'm like, "How did that guy get 23 kills?"
Yeah.
Like really? Like come on now.
I mean, you're bringing all the vets back. And it felt, the thing is, like, I said it last week on the show. It felt like a modern day Halo. And that's what people want. And that's what they're going to get. Everything felt right.
So for anybody out there, they want to check it out, the Halo Inside program, it's up and running. All you literally have to do is go up on the webpage, sign up, and you can check out everything we've been talking about. You can play PC games, you can do the remote play, and it's seamless.
Yeah.
But Pez, I wanted to talk to you about something. There's something you've been putting out there on the social media on a regular basis. Every Monday, you do something pretty awesome with your daughter.
Oh yeah.
And and I know we all grew up watching movies and we've grown up watching TV shows, but just recently I watched Transformers the movie with my daughter for the first time and I got to see it through her eyes. But you've done this. How many movies you gone through now?
Um, we have gone through seven, no, six, six. So, little backstory. At one point in my life, I was a huge comic book fan and a comic book movie fan. Love my comic books. I can't wait to bust them out of storage now that we have this stupid house and I can finally display them in all their glory.
Literally just put up Batman #1.
Like Court's Batman #1. Um, so she I got my youngest into my oldest into superhero movies, and then she became a teenager and didn't like anything I like. And then my youngest would never watch them, but she got into like Jurassic Park and Jurassic World because like Jurassic Park is one of my top 3 movies of all time.
These are just facts.
But then she slept over at my parents' house, and my niece and nephew got her to watch a movie. What was it? Captain America? It was Captain America. She's not in the living room on the floor. Nothing. So,
That's a total parent thing. Nothing. I'm
yeah,
not talking about you.
nothing. So I was like, hey, you should watch the movies in timeline order. And she watched Captain America, but then like watched 5 minutes of Captain Marvel and was like, I don't want to do this. And I said, all right, fine. We're doing it. We are doing Marvel Mondays. And every Monday, ideally, sometimes we have had to like double feature a movie on like a Saturday because, work and whatnot. But every Monday, Marvel Monday, we go in order of the timeline, not counting the TV shows. So no Loki and no WandaVision, though we may do that.
I think you have to now.
We
Oof.
may, just because of the way it plays into now the multiverse
So,
stuff.
dude,
Spoiler alert.
spoiler alert. I watched What If this morning.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah. That's something else I want to check out. So we have we've gone through phase one. Phase one is done. We watched on Monday, we watched Iron Man 3. And it's, the beginning of phase two isn't great. Iron Man 3, Thor, The Dark World. Those 2 movies aren't, I don't know if anyone hasn't seen them, they're not the best. But it's really cool. Just now we'll watch a movie and she'll be like, Daddy, did you see that Easter egg? Daddy, what do you think is the ending credits? And like Iron Man 3, there weren't any. It was the ending credits is Tony Stark like messing around with Bruce Banner, like being a therapist, right? So it's fun to see the younger side of it. And she is like all into Marvel now, 100% into the MCU. She has watched WandaVision. She has watched Loki. She's seen almost every movie that's come out. We haven't watched Black Widow yet. But like there are movies she hasn't seen. Like she didn't see Captain Marvel. That was the second movie we watched. She didn't see Iron Man 3. We watched that on Monday. She hasn't seen, I don't think she's seen Ant-Man and the Wasp. But we'll watch that when it comes out. She hasn't seen any of the Spider-Man movies because they're not on Disney Plus, but we'll rent those because I love the Spider-Man movies.
Well, they're on Netflix Canada. So if you have a VPN, they're there. Just
I
to
don't.
give you okay.
I don't. But whatever.
Fair
I'll kick Sony like $3, and it's the least I can do probably from jumping on the
Well,
seas and taking some of their stuff.
You mentioned Ant-Man, and that's one she could pass on that anyways. That's a meh. And then
We're
the
not
last
passing on any of them. We're going
Oh,
right through.
so
Right through.
my question right off the bat is, to you, did they hold up? And to your daughter, answer for her. What was her impressions of the movies like compared to your first impressions when you saw them?
I feel the second time some have held up better. Iron Man, okay. I'm not a big Captain America fan, so the first one I was like, this movie still kind of is boring. Iron Man 1 is amazing. Like you watch it back and you're like, yeah, man, it's Iron Man. Like the villains are lame. because it's like the guy trying to take over Stark Corporation. But Tony Stark is awesome, and Robert Downey Jr. plays such a good job doing him, and you kind of forget like how almost adulty the movies were in the beginning, right? Because like the first like scene or two is like Tony Stark rolls over and there's a woman naked in bed with him, but obviously you don't see anything. And she was like, "Can I watch this?" And I was like, "Yeah, it's fine. Like it's fine. You're 10.
It's fine.
It's
It's
fine.
fine. It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine." So for me, like Thor held up better than I thought it would be. Because I remember Thor being just a bad movie, and it's like, well, no, maybe it's not a bad movie. Maybe that's just how I felt when it came out in 2000 and I don't know 9, 10. I forget
It's
when it
crazy
came out.
that we were in our 20s when that movie came out.
Yeah, yeah.
Oof. I'm 41 for God's sakes.
For her, I think I'm gonna speak for her, and I might be totally wrong, but I think for her, the cool thing is now that we're watching them in order, how the end credits tie towards the next movie, right? So it's like we watched Iron Man, then you watch Iron Man 2. End of Iron Man 2, they find Thor's hammer. The next movie is Thor. They do all the Tesseract stuff. They talk about how the hammer came down, and then the end scene of that is Loki and the Tesseract. And then the next movie is the Avengers, right? So then you go into the Avengers. And I just think for her, I think she's really enjoyed seeing them actually tie together and not just watching them randomly as this mismatch of stuff.
So which is she's right behind you. Which is her favorite so far?
Let's ask. Hey, come here for a second. Come here. Stand off to the corner because I don't want you on camera. What is, just speak normally now. What is your favorite Marvel movie that we've watched? Marvel. First, introduce yourself. First name only.
Mackenzie. 10.
That is my 10-year-old daughter, Mackenzie. So of the Marvel Monday movies we've watched, so the 3 Iron Mans, Avengers, Captain Marvel, Captain America, Thor 1. Which one has been your favorite and why? You don't know? Okay. Come here. All right, instead of that, answer me, what is your favorite Marvel movie of all of them?
Endgame.
Endgame. And who's your favorite Marvel character?
Gamora.
Nice.
Gamora.
And then who?
And then who? The next character? Black Widow. Baby Groot.
She is a big Guardians fan.
Awesome. Hey, she's a smart girl because
Yeah.
Guardians are by far their best movies. Well, that and Thor Ragnarok. Thor Ragnarok to me is just, it's like a chef's kiss. That is just way too many good side characters in that. Like when he's just dealing with the rock guy that's in the Deadpool commercial now.
Yep.
Like, oh my God, every conversation in that is just funny. You have the conversations there, the conversations up in the stands. Like they did such a good job of making it like a giant Seinfeld episode.
Yeah.
It's unreal.
You want to know why? That director, Takiti, I forget his name.
He's in Free Guy.
Is amazing.
He really is.
Oh man, I forgot his name.
I know he's in. I'll look it up. He's in the new Free Guy. I'll get it to you in a sec. Keep talking.
So, Taika Waititi. There
Yes.
it is. What? What is it? You got to come up here. What's your favorite one so far?
Iron Man 2.
Because Black Widow's in it. That's
Fair
fine.
enough.
Yeah, Taika Waititi, who plays Korg, who is the guy in that Deadpool commercial, which apparently is canon with MCU, by the way.
Now it is. The commercial started it. So the commercial starts it, and I'm also curious to watch Free Guy because it's supposed to have a lot of video game references, but he promises it's not going to be like the movie Pixel. It's not going to be like Ready Player One. They're just going to be video game memes and things that we all know about video games that are in there that you're just gonna be like, oh, thank you.
Do you want
they
a
put in.
good? Do you want a good recommendation movie for Taika Waititi?
Sure.
Jojo Rabbit.
Oh, it's a beautiful movie.
Oh, you've seen it? Okay, good.
Yes.
My wife and I watched it, and we were like, "Oh, what an amazing movie!" All right. you're
Also,
dropping stuff. Thank you.
I'm guessing Mackenzie has your wife's voice.
Yeah, definitely
Yeah.
not mine.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah.
She doesn't sound like a yeah.
I imagine she came over and was like, I love Black Widow. So yeah, and then he's also directing Thor: Love and Thunder. He directed
Which,
Ragnarok, and he's directing Love and Thunder, which I don't think
My-
has a release date yet. Just says
My-
2022.
I still wish that Miss Marvel didn't have to be so late, because the higher ups, let's be honest, at Marvel at the time didn't think women could carry a movie, which is
Right.
embarrassing to think about now, but it is what it is. But I do wish that they could have had Miss Marvel earlier in the series, and you could have
Mhm.
had more female lead because there's some great characters, right? That they
They're
could have done
coming.
more with. Even Black Widow, when you look at it, it's obvious she's never coming back.
Nope.
Because of the whole Sue and Disney thing. So she gone regardless of the multiverse.
Well, we're gonna have, we obviously have Gamora. We're gonna have the
Well, you
new
can have
Thor.
You can have anybody back.
I know.
Anybody could be back. Now, here's what my daughter wants. We need a Spider-Gwen movie. Like it needs to happen. It would be after Spider-Verse. Like she was the star. Miles Morales was amazing, but give me Spider-Gwen.
My guess is you'll get that like from the Sony side, like those, because I think they're making a Spider-Verse 2, so you'll be getting a lot of those like Adobe produced, not Adobe produced. They were made in like Adobe, like Photoshop and stuff. But you'll get those movies, and there will be a Spider-Gwen movie, 100%.
I hope so. So yeah, like I haven't. My daughter hasn't. She hasn't got to watch the Marvel movies. The only superhero movie she's watched is Into the Spider-Verse because it's a cartoon. You can get away
Yeah.
with it. She loves it.
I bet.
Like
I bet.
loves that movie.
I bet. I kind of
So-
want to do like I kind of want to do a watch through of like Marvel Knights, the Marvel Knights movies of like Blade and Punisher, and it's just
Punisher's good.
it's just I got a little not overwhelmed, but I was like kind of done with Marvel for a bit because it's just like movies just coming out forever. But then watching them again, I was like, man, all right, these movies are pretty fun. I get why people still get hyped because
Yeah.
We're not even talking like the Deadpool movies that came out, the X-Men movies that came out. Although X-Men 3 stunk, but X-Men 2 and First Class were amazing movies.
What's the one they go back in time for the first time?
That's First Class.
That was a fantastic movie.
Yep. And then there's Days of Future Past, which is also a great movie. And then there is Age of Apocalypse, which is a horrible movie. Which
Yeah, I couldn't
sucks
finish watching it, but
because that comic book arc is so
there is
good.
Logan. There's just
And
Logan.
there's
You
Logan.
can you can just don't act like the other one doesn't exist and just watch Logan. Now, question for you. From the movies we grew up watching, our Ninja Turtles, 1989 Batman, I'm going to act like the other Batmans didn't exist because they were really bad. Not the Christian Bale, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, Batman Forever, Batman and Robin. Although
Oof,
I would
they don't
like to
exist.
rewatch Batman Forever, and
Nope.
to think if it was, I just want to see if it's as bad as I remember. Batman and Robin, yes, I've watched it multiple times.
So here's my thing. Val Kilmer and George Clooney, they're not Batman. They just ruin the movie every time they talk.
Yeah. Because like
And-
Jim Carrey as the Riddler, I was like, this has to work.
No,
It makes
but
so
did
much
you
sense,
see-
and then it doesn't.
Did you ever hear what Tim Burton wanted?
No, who do you want?
Oh, so the third movie was going to be The Riddler,
Yeah.
and it was Robin Williams.
Oh, that would have been amazing.
I know. See what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I don't you and then Two-Face was I can't remember now. Wasn't Tommy Lee Jones because he did like no offense to Tommy Lee Jones or any of the actors that were in that movie. It's not their fault that the movie was horse poop.
Yeah,
Like
it's just from what I remember, it just wasn't great. but not as
It's
bad as Batman and Robin. That was a horrible movie. Ooh.
now question to you, because the ones we grew up with, you've
Yeah.
let her watch Jurassic Park. Have you thought about maybe 1989 Batman or at least Ninja Turtles?
No, we've watched Ninja Turtles 1 and Ninja Turtles 2, and then TMNT.
Yeah, I don't count the third one.
Yeah, the third one doesn't exist in this household.
Oh.
So yeah, we've watched let's see, we've watched Ninja Turtles, Ninja Turtles 2. We've watched Ghostbusters 1 and 2. We watched Jurassic Park. We watched The Goonies, The Neverending Story. This kid, can I tell you about this kid?
Yeah.
This kid watched Artax die in the swamp of sadness and laughed.
Okay, that's not cool, man, because that made me cry.
I know, dude. She's like a supervillain. She's like an anti-hero, pretty sure.
I thought about letting my daughter watch Neverending Story just because I truly, truly love it. But I'm like, she really likes horses right now, so I'm like, I
Oh yeah,
can't.
nope.
Nope. Because
Nope.
there's so much greatness, like Falcor, like everything, the ending of it. But I don't think I can get to the ending to show her that the horse is alive
No.
without showing her the horse dies.
Right. We've
Like,
watched
that is so like just the music. People talk about how they can listen to video game music.
mhm.
I can listen to the score from 1989 Batman, the score from Goonies, the score from Jurassic Park, the score from, you know what? I'm actually going to download it all. The score
Nice.
from Neverending Story all day long. And then the soundtracks to any of these 80s movies, like Goonies soundtrack, it slaps.
Yeah, that's great. Good enough. Oh man, what a song.
Good
What a
enough.
song. The best.
Good
The
enough.
best.
Good enough.
But we've done the the movies I've grown up with. We haven't done the Mighty Ducks yet, but we did the Mighty Ducks TV show. And that was funny because she was like, the Game Changer. She was like,
yeah, it was not good.
I said, hey, you want to watch? She loved it. I
Really?
didn't mind it. It was a cheesy kid show. I didn't mind it.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough.
I mean, the Mighty Ducks is a cheesy kids movie, right? Like the first one's good, but the second and third one stinks.
I don't count the other two. There was only one movie. The rest of it I just block out of my mind.
And the second one was like more Mighty Ducks, but kind of dumb at the end when Kenan Thompson did the knuckle puck and the dentist is like the goalie.
Well,
it's so good.
My biggest problem with the Mighty Ducks series is when they do the international tournament and Canada's not in it. And when I find out later, like if you Google it, the reason they didn't have Canada in because they couldn't justify saying that the US would beat Canada in the end.
Yeah.
So they just couldn't do it. So then they pick the Iceland as what was that? Like that didn't even make any sense. They don't have Russia. Iceland. They don't have Finland. They pick Iceland.
They pick Iceland, Trinidad, Tobago. They played just a bunch of bums. I think they played Japan.
Yeah, it didn't make any sense.
A bunch of nobodies. But yeah, we've done the kid movies, E.T., like we've done all those old movies. And
now, is there any of them besides, like you said, the horse dying, she didn't care? Is there any that from the ones like Ghostbusters 2 is bad, but is there any that she's like, oh my God, that's one of my favorite movies?
Jurassic Park was a favorite movie for a while. I think that was it. Not Ninja Turtles. TMNT was a favorite movie for a while. I know.
She's a kid. It's not her fault. It's not her fault.
So those are probably the big two, and then the Marvel movies came and pushed everything out.
So if you could recommend to the listeners who have a son or daughter, your Mackenzie's age,
yep.
What would you start with? Would you go right to the Marvel movies, or would you go to the stuff we grew up from the 80s?
Depends on the kid. If your kid is into, obviously if they're into like superheroes right now, do the Marvel watch through. You'll have a great time. If they're not and you want something like you want a comedy, right? Or if they're into pirates, like watch the Goonies because it's funny and there's that whole like adventurous One-Eyed Willie thing that that goes on through the movie. Obviously, if they like dinosaurs, right, you do Jurassic Park and Jurassic World. The first Jurassic World with Chris Pratt's pretty good.
Have you watched Hook with her yet?
No, we haven't.
Oh, that'd be a good one.
That
is a good one.
Rufio, Rufio.
So I would say, show your kids your favorite show your kids your favorite movie growing up and see what happens. Because a lot of the movies we watched growing up, the good ones, the popular ones, still hold up. Like Ghostbusters still holds up. Like the CGI is kind of crappy because obviously it was 1986, no 88, and CGI really wasn't a thing. So like when the terror dog runs out of the apartment and he's running across the street of New York, like it looks bad, but the comedy's still there for the adults, and then for the kids, like you have the ghosts and all that stuff. So
Oh, just only 5 years ago did I realize the gatekeeper and the keymaster was a penis and a
yep,
vagina.
yep,
I just, it took me about 5 years. I'm rewatching it. I'm like, oh my God.
yep.
Rick Moranis is the keymaster and Sigourney Weaver is the gate.
Yep.
Oh,
Vince
all
Clortho,
right.
Keymaster of Gozer.
Such a good, honestly. I've got them all. They were a bunch. I always look in the Apple iTunes
Mhm.
movie section because I don't have my DVD collection of Blu-rays. I've sold them, except I did buy the Transformers 4K. Oh,
Awesome.
rewatch that bad boy. It looks so good. But I go in there and I bought Ghostbusters. I bought Goonies because I'm setting it up so that when my daughter's old enough, I'm gonna be like, okay, we're running the gambit. We'll go
Yeah.
Top Gun. We'll do it all.
Yeah.
Well, I'll fast forward the volleyball scene. She don't need to see that.
No. And we the only before we moved to our current apartment, we got rid of a bunch of physical movies, which I wish we didn't, because like now I like streaming, but I'm also like anti, oh, if I buy it digitally and HBO Max like shuts down, I can never watch it again. Type thing. Like if you buy it on Amazon, all of a sudden Amazon isn't a thing anymore.
I know you're definitely against the digital, but I think I'm safe with Apple. I
Yeah,
don't know.
probably. But
Feel safe.
so like the only real physical media I own is like I own all my Ghostbuster movies. So the original I have on VHS and Blu-ray and DVD and like Laserdisc at my mother's house.
Honestly, I want to watch them on VHS just to see. I just want to see the crackle and
I will
the funness.
I'll have to take a video because at my mom's house because they live in a split level on the basement, that's where all of like the videos are. There is definitely Ghostbusters on VHS. There's definitely Jurassic
Hold on,
Park.
let me guess. Jurassic Park, Home Alone, Batman.
Yep. No.
How Pez?
I
How
don't
do you
know.
not have Batman? Like, we deprived as a kid?
No. I've seen both Batmans.
What about Robin Hood and Prince of Thieves with Kevin Costner?
I don't think so.
Mhm.
There isn't a still sealed. Can I say this? A still sealed Star Wars trilogy from when they re-released them on VHS in like
Okay, hold
the
on.
mid 90s.
So that is worth a lot of money because that has no of the editings. That doesn't have the editings in it. It doesn't
Guess
have
so.
the
It's just
that
hanging out
that
down there.
that's the one with you have Luke. It's a blue case and it just says Star Wars on the front and has Luke on it. I'm pretty sure. My brother has it.
I'll look it up as we keep talking.
I'm faster than you.
But anyway, so yeah, there is a lot of it's the 1996 Star Wars trilogy VHS in 96.
1995. It's 95.
Oh, 95. Sealed.
Yeah, that's not the good one. The good one is because that's the one with
like
the new.
88.
So the 1995 is when they changed everything.
Yeah.
1992, they brought it back out. And that's the one you want. So you can have any of the ones from the 80s, but you want it right before they brought out the prequels that to me don't matter. But you want it before that. So it's 19. My brother has it. So it says Star Wars trilogy on it. And you can tell by the covers. You want the cover with Luke and Leia. You want, Han and Leia, and then the Return of the Jedi, which is you know what? I think I might need a Return of the Jedi poster for this office. Like, who are we kidding here?
Yeah, I'll have to see what other VHSs are down there. It's and like she has a bunch of the old Disney ones, even the Little Mermaid one with the phallic cover. Like we're talking the old plastic ones that you open and
I
it's
get
like
the Vault Disney was calling it at the time, remember?
yes,
The Vault.
Yep. So she has a bunch of those too. And still has a VHS player, believe it or not.
Does it still work?
I think so. The kids are old enough now that they don't go down to watch movies.
The kids?
Yeah, so my kid and then my niece
Oh,
and nephew
okay.
are 11 and 8. So like when they go to my mom's house, they're not downstairs watching VHS movies. They're like on their iPads and stuff. But like when they were little, when they were like babies, it worked. Yeah. That's how
Well,
that's how they watched their Disney movies.
well, I honestly, Pez, I can't wait to do the same thing that you've been doing.
Great.
The last month, what, 2 months now? You've been doing it. With my daughter.
Yeah.
I truly can't wait. Just watching Spider-Verse, and she just got started getting the Transformer Rescue Bots. So after watching Transformers, now she loves Transformers. So, hopefully, I'll be able to do that soon. But thank you, everyone. It's been another episode of Three Dads at a Console. Click like, subscribe. Find us on YouTube. Find Pez on Twitch. Find myself on Twitch. Find Three Dads in a Console on Twitch, or check us out on Twitter. I'm at Court Lalonde and at Pazel569. Yeah,
56X.
56X. I was so close.
It's okay. It's in the name. It's
Well,
right
there you
underneath
go.
me. There it is.
But looking forward to talking to you guys all next week, and we'll see you next time.
Take care, everyone.